I can do it
Are
on
you ready?
reflex.
Ready.
You
Ready,
ready?
steady.
You ready to steady?
I'm ready as I'll steady ever be.
Ready?
Yeah.
Yeah, you sound ready as you reach back into the bag.
Just go, come on.
Fatso.
Don't call me a fat ass. I ain't a
I
fat
didn't. I called
ass.
you a fatso.
You know what? You're a lard ass.
I don't even know what lard
You're
is.
flipping, you're a greasy lard ass boy.
Greasy boy.
You're flipping greasy, sweaty,
Oh, what'd I do?
clammy.
I mean,
I really wanted to sleep, but the realization that I might never wake up again if I fall asleep now was keeping me up and running. I'm not sure how long I spent lying like that, trembling at every rustle, but eventually the door burst open and steps resounded in the room. I barely peered out from under the blanket and caught a glimpse of Eliza and Masha entering with a bucket of water and some bags.
I see you went a bit cuckoo here.
Yeah, sorta.
I replied with a trembling voice, trying to flash a smile.
Trying to flash her.
Everything okay?
Seems like it.
I glanced at Lena yet again, but she was still sleeping quietly. Oh yeah, I forgot. Maybe it was indeed just my imagination. Sure, given a condition of such extreme emotional stress and physical fatigue, I might be seeing things. I got up with considerable effort, took a cup from the table, and scooped up some water.
So, what are we doing next?
We'll have to stay here for now.
Olga Dimitrievna has called the police.
Muttered Eliza.
Yeah, but everyone disappeared after that.
In any case, until Lena comes to her senses.
Although if I ever happen to see her like that again, I would frankly rather that she doesn't wake up.
Well,
Oh. Eliza lay down on Lena's bed and Masha sat down next to me.
Get some sleep.
She gently stroked me and... sorry.
can you really sleep with all this happening? The stroking and all?
Stop
We'll
stroking me.
keep, we'll keep guard. You look really tired and hard.
I guess she was right.
Okay, but just a nap. Wake me up before evening.
Before dawn. She didn't say a word, just smiled.
Promise.
I promise.
Replied Masha quietly. I closed my eyes and instantly tumbled into a dream. Here they come again. The grasshoppers. This time it's their king. A huge swamp green monstrosity with really long curved legs, wings that would match the wingspan of a large airliner, and enormous pitch black eyes. He was hanging
Sexy.
over me, grinning and spluttering something really loud. I still didn't understand anything of their language, but judging by the tone, it wasn't anything nice that you would hear on the morning news. You don't hear nice things. You hear Trump impeachment and you hear someone died. That's all you hear on the news. There's nothing happy.
Yeah, like a drunken car crash or something.
Yeah, like there's never. The only thing that's happy is when Fox News is like, oh, look at this puppy. I didn't come here for a puppy. I didn't go to the news in general.
Or it's something boring like, oh, the community center opened today. Like Boston Street.
You can go see it if you're 90. Other than that, you're not gonna care.
You could go like piss in the corner or something. I don't know.
Today in New York City, a local baker created the country's world's largest cookie.
And next we have a drowning child. Take it away, Carrie.
Thanks, Bill.
Nice name, Carrie.
Thank you. I named it myself.
Whoa. That's
What
me if I
button
hit,
are you-
Wow.
that's me if I hit A.
So, wait, self-voicing, huh?
Oh, I can
Text to speech.
I'm not doing that.
Wait, put on text. Go just once. Just
Oops.
once. Oh yeah, I wonder what text-to-speech voice it is.
Self-voicing enable. Oh, you can press V to disable. So, I wanted to get away, but he clutched me tightly with his.
I wanted to get away, but he clutched me tightly with his wretched claw.
Ah, yeah.
Why did he?
Let me just sit back and relax.
I'm not doing that.
Oh.
It randomly did it. I
Wait,
didn't.
you should do that for Lena's voice.
I felt hundreds of hammers smashing inside my skull. My vision faded, and the next moment fountains of blood and flesh were spraying all over the place.
How would you know if your vision was faded?
And if you, like, died already.
Yeah.
Hey, it's evening. I jumped up in a cold sweat. My own scream still reverberated in the room. It took me several seconds to clear the dimness from my eyes. I looked around frantically and realized that it was already evening, and it was completely dark outside. Good grief, we didn't turn off the light yesterday.
Think of the power bill.
Masha, did I do that? Masha
Comedy.
was lying asleep next to me, while Router was curled up on the floor. Lena was lying in the
Loser.
other bed, tightly wrapped in the blanket. Yet Eliza, nowhere to be seen.
Hey.
Woke Masha up with a few rough prods.
What?
She slowly came to her senses.
Prod. Didn't I ask you?
Sorry, I fell asleep.
She had such a guilty expression on her face that I felt sick.
How dare you?
How dare you feel guilty? I shouldn't have relied on her. At least I could have set up an alarm. I woke Router up.
Just super kick him.
Where's Eliza?
I don't know.
Said Masha worriedly.
Well, who does know? We were all asleep.
Well, she was sleeping here, and then...
Her eyes darted around guiltily again.
And then you fell asleep.
She hung her head and let out a heavy sigh.
Oh, perfect. Just perfect.
I don't know if that was a... there's a gunshot. I pounded my fist on the table, making Masha jump.
Okay, you sit here and we'll go and find her.
Alone?
He said wheel.
Yeah.
Her face suddenly took on an expression of fright.
Alone. Wasn't it you who told me that it's not worth panicking?
Yeah, but it's not.
Oh, fine, I'll go alone.
But... what?
Or do you really want to sit here with only Lena?
Masha kept silent. Why does... That's kind of mean, isn't it? Look at his face, he's so concerned.
It's dangerous to go alone.
Take this.
Take this.
I'm gonna do that every time.
Okay.
They've said it like 5 times.
These guys are so hip.
I noticed that Israel seemed to have fully awakened.
And it's not dangerous for her to sit here all alone?
I felt that there was no point in arguing, so I got up, grabbed my trusty pipe, and headed for the door. In any case, given that people had been disappearing into thin air, one can't feel safe anywhere or in any company. Of course, it could still turn out that Eliza just went somewhere. To the toilet. Although, given how frightened she looked, I guess she would have woken up Masha or just have held it till morning. Damn! Anything but going all alone through the camp. I braced myself for impact, pulled the handle, and went outside. I swept my eyes across the landscape and then... I saw
No.
Eliza. Wait,
No.
wasn't this tree, like, deeper in the woods last time?
Yeah,
Okay.
not right outside.
I wonder where she found a rope. Or wait, she's just hanging by her hair. That's all it is. Just choked herself with her hair.
Wow.
Hanging high above the ground from the tree, right? I wonder how she climbed it. That looks hard to climb. That is not an easy to climb tree.
She was possessed by a demon.
It was a demon.
It was a demon.
A sharp pain pierced my temples and I collapsed to the ground. The horror was so overwhelming that I literally felt my whole body being bound in steel chains. Blinded
Now
with
take
fear,
care.
I barely managed to crawl back into the cabin and close the door.
What happened?
Masha rushed over to me.
Don't look.
I grasped her arm.
Don't go outside.
Don't go.
What's the matter?
She reached out for the door handle. I attempted to stop her, but I was so weak that I could only let out a groan of despair. Opening the door, Masha what is she hanging right outside our door? She
Yeah.
like a
It
pinata.
said that it was right outside.
Just right when you open the door, it's just a hanging girl.
Well, it's across from the cabin. It literally said that.
Shut up. Opening the door, Masha screamed and froze in her tracks. Gathering my last ounces of strength, I got up and kicked the door shut. The next moment, Masha fainted and fell back into my arms. What a suave man we are. Carried her to the
Yeah.
bed and put down next to the shaking Router. What? Router didn't say anything. His face told me that he's definitely not interested in knowing what happened there. Of course she woke up. All these screams woke Lena up. She rose slightly in her bed and gave us a glance.
What's happening?
She asked in a whisper. I didn't know how I should reply. I felt a scream rising up in my throat, but I managed to muffle it in a hollow sigh. Lena was horrified, but she still didn't realize what exactly had happened here.
Don't go outside.
I moaned. Sorry. Unlike Masha, she wasn't one to argue. An oppressive silence ensued. Even the grasshoppers seemed to quiet down in order to add suspense to the situation.
Those damn grasshoppers
I hate
finally
those
fucking doing
things.
something for once.
Such a stupid little subplot they got going there with the Hopers.
Yeah. You got assaulted by grasshoppers as a kid or something. And he won't let it go.
He must really hate the Kung Fu Panda movie.
Honestly. Masha was still lying on my lap. Router was quivering in the corner of the bed. Lena was sitting in front of me with an expression of doom and despair on her face. I stared at the door with an unblinking gaze, waiting for the moment it will burst open, and my fear couldn't manifest in any concrete form. A homicidal maniac, a monster, an alien. It was the horror of the unknowable, darkness and emptiness. I wasn't afraid that I'd be torn to pieces just like Slavia, or become a zombie like Ilyana. I was afraid to disappear, vanish without a trace from this world. Masha let out a quiet moan.
I just had such a nightmare.
It wasn't a dream.
Faints again. She opened her eyes wide and looked at me with horror.
Then, there.
Don't look.
The door's closed.
No.
Not again.
She's gonna open it again.
Let me check again. I shouted.
Sure.
Oh,
Give
I
me
think
the
you're
money.
lying to me.
Give me the money, Lebowski.
I shouted and hastily embraced her. Lena started crying loudly, ran up and pressed herself against me, trembling all over. Long minutes dragged on in agonizing silence.
So, what are we gonna do now?
Asked Masha through her tears. She didn't seem so self-confident now, although we
Where?
were all in the same situation. Time passed, yet nothing happened. We had to make a decision. I couldn't say that I came back to my senses after what I saw, but I still felt my mind clearing up a bit. I knew one thing for certain. We cannot stay here. Where's the clock, and why is it right in our ear?
What?
Did you not hear the clock?
Maybe it's the ball.
Yeah, it's the ball.
It is a ball, okay?
It's not a ball.
It's a fucking ball.
Why?
That's true.
Just something.
I mean, it's not as high res as it probably could be, but it looks like 2 pixels.
How does anyone get up
Like
here? It's so high up.
You gotta get the step ladder.
Dude, you could stand on this table and still not make it.
I mean,
Why can't it be like one of those tiny houses and turn it into like an attic patio?
And it wasn't because it was more dangerous here than anywhere else. It's just because I can't endure staying near the corpse of Eliza. I bet it's even
Well,
more...
you'll have to see the corpse of Liza if you want to walk out the door.
Just shield your eyes like that thing, like cool thing Drake does. You know what I mean? You know,
I think I do.
the meme. So,
Hmm.
here, Alex, why don't you get on that for me? Well, I bet it's even more of a gut-wrenching experience for the girls.
We have to go.
I said quietly. I felt Masha and Lena hugging me even tighter.
Yeah. Router, get in here with the
Come on,
hug.
baby.
it's our last night. Might as well make it
Hmm.
worth something.
Get the fuck in here, buddy. Oh, we have to.
Router stopped shaking and left the bed.
Aw.
How are you feeling?
I asked Lena.
Oh.
She said nothing.
Can you walk? Probably.
I gently escaped their embraces and got up.
We have to run. At night it will be easier to go. I paused.
Why the heck did you sound like freaking Chills? Like, we have to run. Like, you just extended the last word of your freaking sentence.
I didn't know how I wanted to do that, so I did it like that.
Number 15. We have to run.
It is time to go.
But we.
Nasha tried to make a humble objection.
Yeah, I know that we decided to stay, but now we have to get out of here.
I turned to Ezreal.
You do realize that they shouldn't see all that?
He gave a barely visible nod. Although Ezreal didn't know what happened to Eliza, it was obvious that his vivid imagination had conjured up so many gruesome theories during this time that he was probably even more depressed than me.
Okay, we're gonna hold hands and go. I'll go first and lead the way. Masha goes next, then Lena, then you.
I looked at the Goyles. They were sitting with their heads hanging down, sobbing quietly.
Ready?
Ready, Freddy. Nobody replied. This was obviously a useless question. One can never be ready for such a situation. I took Masha's hand, turned around, and gave Lena and Router a serious look. I opened the door, and there she was.
Okay, now shut your eyes. She's right there in front of the door. And don't open them, not matter what. You got that? Yeah,
Lena
I
nodded.
would say that.
Ezreal said yeah. Lena nodded. Though.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Steal your something and find your resolve.
I stealed my
Nerves. It steal
Yeah.
my nerves and find your resolve
Yeah.
or something like that. Just so you know.
Okay, just okay.
It's not a
Burst open the door and went
It's a
down,
ball.
holding Masha's hand.
Don't trigger me. It's a ball. Watch out for the steps, morons. Don't you know how to walk on steps?
Oh, there she is.
Oh, right, they have their eyes closed. Damn, never mind.
Yeah, you're stupid again.
Don't call me stupid.
You're stupid.
I'm
Don't
not
even know
stupid.
what a ball looks like.
Dummy head.
What'd you just call me?
Flipping poo poo pants. Fucking asshole.
Who are you? What? Are you trying to get us fined for however many thousands of
Oh,
dollars?
right, this video's gonna get deleted now.
Alright, say the
Damn,
N-word.
I-
Quick, resolve it.
Beep. Oh, I censored it.
You're not even the editor. Beep.
I did you a favor.
I'll say
Are
it
you?
then. Later.
Beep. Well,
Oh, thank you. When we made our way outside, I darted a final glance at Eliza. What I saw now didn't send me sprawling on the ground, although my heart was racing frantically. I was feeling sick and dizzy, and my stomach turned. She was hanging
That's the
above...
feeling of horniness about a corpse.
Oh, she used
guy.
handkerchiefs. She was hanging about 5 metres above the ground. Several neckerchiefs tied together in a string were tightened around her throat. Bulging eyes, protruding tongue. Putrefactions? Already at work. What is a putrefaction?
I thought you would
That's
know.
That's the decomposition of the body after death.
Wow, that was quick.
I didn't have to Google it. I knew what it was.
Alright, this guy...
No, I
should
mean,
we
like,
be
that
worried
was
about
quick.
this guy?
For putrefaction already. happened.
I thought it would be like corpus callosum. That's the part of the brain. I thought it'd be what is it called?
Rigor mortis.
Rigor mortis. I think corpus callosum. It's the thing that like connects your lobes of the brain. I don't know
It's
why I
a
thought
little
that.
irrelevant to the topic at hand.
Well, her brain no longer works.
That's true.
It looks like she
Because of the
didn't
rigor
die a
mortis.
couple of hours ago, but at least a couple of days. You can rigor my mortis, Morty. Sorry.
Yeah, Morty, you gotta rigor my mortis, Morty. Yeah.
That's a good Rick impression.
Oh, thank you.
You been working on it?
I've had some practice in the mirror.
Oh my god.
In the mirror. An expression of agony and inhuman suffering was permanently frozen on her face. It was clear that she couldn't have done such a thing to herself. My god, who came up with all this? Maybe we are in hell. I hastened my steps away from a diabolical scene, dragging the others along. And then we got the face-palming Genda, baby. I ordered them to
Face
open their
palming.
eyes only when we reached the square.
Face palming because he realized Henry thought it was a ball.
It's a ball.
She's still there?
I asked Masha, not letting go of my hand. I have just nodded.
Who, Eliza?
Who else, you stupid cock? Lena cried out loud and burst into tears. Masha embraced her and tried to comfort her.
What happened to her?
Muttered Router with a faltering tongue.
I bet you don't want to know that.
For a while I just stood there and looked at the moon. Lena was sobbing, Router was pacing in circles around us, and Masha sat down on the bench and buried her face in her hands.
Okay, it's time.
I said quietly, yet nobody moved.
We can't stay here.
I walked to Masha, leaned over her, and took her hand. She raised her eyes filled with tears at me and nodded.
Yeah.
We slowly proceeded to the
What
bus
was
stop.
that?
It was her crying.
Was that?
I do
It
not
couldn't be.
I do not
Fucking-
consent.
It's her.
Night
Playing
is
the
falling.
pronoun game.
How dare you?
It was them.
Night has fallen on the camp. Along the way I noticed the grasshoppers again were almost quiet. Keeping silent for some time, now they resumed their nasty song, but this time it was much quieter and, I might say, a little bit more respectful. Their daytime progressive noise changed to a nocturne for violin and orchestra.
This fucking guy.
Is there any chance they're conscious about what's going on here? Of course, Vsauce,
Did they murder Eliza?
Michael here. If we assume that there are grasshoppers in hell too,
How much does a grasshopper weigh? And can it kill a Russian lady?
if they all got together and grabbed a bunch of neckerchiefs, could they hang her without help?
Recent studies have shown that grasshoppers show a collective conscience, and they will grab handkerchiefs if they see them, using them as implement weapons.
We've also noticed that grasshoppers are stronger than humans.
A fungus fact. Grasshoppers are constantly at war with the ant colonies.
The ants are losing out and dying off because of it.
The grasshopper's advanced use of the handkerchief is winning them many battles.
They also have created
grass-
M16s that have won them many a war.
They have captured many arms factories of the ants.
The grasshoppers of China trained ancient Chinese warriors in the kung fu style of grasshopper.
They've bombed their oil fields, so they no longer have fuel to supply.
The queen ants have been all but assassinated.
Only one remains, who will survive. Find out next on this poorly translated
Assassin's
show.
Creed 23. You have to assassinate the last fucking ant queen.
And then it's just a plot twist if she's your mom or something. Then
Oedipus style.
it's just Romeo and Juliet type stuff.
Nomeo and Julia.
Shut up. We came
Hire
to
me, Hollywood.
No, don't do it.
You'll regret it. He can't edit. He can't act.
I'll write the screenplay.
He thinks that a freaking flat-sided sphere is a ball.
You flipping people have like busted eyeballs or something.
Busted. I have the best quality here, alright?
Flipping people have screwed up eyeballs. You can't even flip and see.
Watch my video and you'll see it in 1080p, probably. We'll see.
Someone will zoom in on it.
Enhance image. Well, yeah, I'm
That's
the person who
all right.
zooms in on it. I'm not gonna do it. We came to the bus stop and stopped. What? We came to the stop and stopped. Hesitating, stopping.
So where are we going?
We're going to stop.
We're going to stop and stay here forever. It sounds a lot safer.
Yeah.
I guess this is where we bus stop.